number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 475,271. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 8,075. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 2,352, with total confirmed deaths at 77. We anticipate the Torrance numbers to change as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Christine Lee. It's 4 p.m. on Wednesday, December 9th. California and LA County both reached grim milestones this week. Statewide, more than 20,000 COVID-19 deaths have now been reported. And here in LA County, more than 8,000 people have died from the coronavirus. 3,299 Angelenos are currently hospitalized. 24% of them are in the ICU and 15% are on ventilators. That brings the total to 475,271 positive cases of COVID-19 in LA County. Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer got emotional today as she talked about the alarming number of people that have passed away. She also showed graph after graph showing recent spikes. For example, from November 1st through November 30th, average daily cases increased by 300%. New daily cases rose from 4,900 in the last week of November to 8,933 new daily cases during the first week of December. Dr. Ferrer emphasizes that nobody lives in a bubble and says everyone needs to minimize the number of people they interact with, especially over the next 3 weeks. She showed a list of what's open right now and reminded everyone to stay home as much as possible. One of the places in the now open list is playgrounds. California changed its rules overnight to reopen playgrounds in regions under the stay-at-home orders. And this afternoon, Supervisor Hilda Solis announced that Los Angeles County will be aligning with the state to permit playgrounds to reopen. She added that access to playgrounds is critical, especially for residents who do not have backyards or an open space. Critics have voiced similar concerns recently, saying closing these facilities would harm the children who have few options to play safely outside. The state's website now says playgrounds may remain open to facilitate physically distanced personal health and wellness through outdoor exercise. State and local leaders expect everyone to wear their masks and not gather with others while at the play areas. LA County could receive its first shipment of the COVID-19 vaccine as early as next week. 85,000 doses are allocated for our region, and initial priority will be given to healthcare workers. Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says because of a lack of supply, vaccine eligibility will be determined by phases of prioritization that have been developed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as guidance from the California Department of Public Health. She adds that local planning is essential to assist in the implementation based on our current status and trends in transmission across our county. Healthcare workers are the top priority and known as Phase 1A of the CDC determined distribution plan. The county plans to give the initial wave of doses to acute care hospitals. Dr. Ferrer says they'll work with all healthcare facilities to make sure they also have an ability to prioritize by risk, since this initial amount cannot cover every healthcare worker. The county hopes to receive its second allocation of the vaccine by December 21st. At that time, priority would expand to include residents and staff members at skilled nursing centers and long-term care facilities. Dr. Ferrer says that distribution will be administered through federal government contracts with CVS and Walgreens. From there, the vaccine distribution will widen even more to cover other priority locations such as dialysis centers, infusion centers, and primary care clinics. Public health officials hope that Phase 1A can be completed by the end of January. A couple of those in England who got the first doses of the coronavirus vaccine may be experiencing allergic reactions from the drug. Now, British regulators are warning that people who have a history of serious allergic reactions not get the Pfizer vaccine at this time. That includes anyone who has been told to carry an adrenaline shot or others who have had potentially fatal allergic reactions to a food, medicine, or a vaccine. The two affected people were staff members workers with the National Health Service. They had a history of allergies and were being told that both are recovering well. The agency also says vaccinations should not be carried out in facilities that don't have resuscitation equipment. The vaccine makers are working with investigators to better understand each case and its causes. They say late-stage trials of the vaccine found no serious safety concerns. The more than 42,000 people have received 2 doses of the shot during those trials. Published documents from Pfizer and its partner BioNTech showed that people with a history of severe allergic reactions were excluded from the trials. They also note that doctors were advised to look out for such reactions in trial participants who weren't previously known to have severe allergies. The UK began its mass vaccination program on Tuesday, offering the shot to people over 80, nursing home staff, and some NHS workers. It's unclear at this time exactly how many people received the vaccine. Meanwhile, Canada just gave its approval for Pfizer's vaccine. It becomes the third country to do so after the UK and Bahrain. A judge is siding with LA County restaurants over a court case involving the ban of outdoor dining. Superior Court Judge James Chalfant ruled that LA County's health director acted arbitrarily and did not prove the danger to the public when she banned outdoor dining at restaurants as the coronavirus cases surged last month. He even went further, writing that, quote, "The restaurant closure order is an abuse of the department's emergency powers, is not grounded in science, evidence, or logic, and should be adjudicated to be unenforceable as a matter of law." The judge limited the county's outdoor dining ban to 3 weeks and tasked the health department to conduct a risk-benefit analysis before trying to extend the restriction. This ruling keeps the current order in place until December 16th. However, the state's regional stay-at-home order extends the in-person dining ban until December 27th. This is the first court victory for the California Restaurant Association, which brought the lawsuit after challenging the Public Health Department's orders. Although the association had hoped that the judge would lift the ban, its lawyer, Richard Schwartz, says he's still pleased with the result, saying he thinks this will hold the county's feet to the fire when they decide to close down an entire sector of economy, and that you can't have a cure that's worse than the disease. Starting tomorrow, you can use a smartphone tool that alerts users of possible coronavirus exposure. Co-created by Apple and Google, the system has been used on a pilot basis at some state university campuses. It doesn't track people's identities or locations, but uses Bluetooth wireless signals to let you know when 2 phones are within 6 feet of each other for at least 15 minutes. 40 million people live in our state and can decide to use it. Here's how this tool can benefit users. When someone tests positive for the coronavirus, that person will receive a verification code from state health officials that can be used to send an anonymous alert to other users who may have been near that person for over the past 14 days. Governor Gavin Newsom says the more people that participate, the more effective this program can be. 16 other states, as well as Guam and Washington, D.C., have already made this system available to their residents. Currently, more than 80% of Californians are under stay-at-home orders. State officials hope they'll consider opting in to see if this tool can help stop the curve. Those living in the state can activate the new exposure notification tool in their iPhone settings or on Android phones by downloading the CA Notify app from the Google Play Store. Many residents will receive a notification inviting them to participate. Speaking of alerts, did you get an emergency alert from the state yesterday? Southern California residents should have received the urgent text from the state reminding them of the newest stay-at-home order. The notice was sent out around noon and it reads, State of California, new public health stay-at-home order in your area. COVID-19 is spreading rapidly. Stay home except for essential activity. Wear a mask. Keep your distance. Visit covid19.ca.gov. Southern California is one of 5 regions being evaluated by the state based on ICU bed capacity. We are currently under the toughest restrictions because our ICU capacity falls under its minimum threshold of 15%. That means many businesses, including barbershops and hair and nail salons, are forced to close again. Bars, breweries, and wineries are also shut down, and restaurants, as we all know by now, are being mandated to stop offering dine-in services. State public health officials say Tuesday's text is a sober reminder that we are seeing such high levels of transmission and every activity needs to be done differently. They hope this text will encourage residents to follow the current guidelines aimed at keeping everyone safe. As vaccines likely become available in the US in upcoming weeks, questions start to arise among businesses. The main one being, can employers require their employees to get vaccinated? Employment attorneys say in many cases, yes. A lawyer specializing in the labor and employment field says, generally speaking, employers can require safety measures, including vaccinations, with exceptions for certain employees. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission already allows companies to require employees to be vaccinated for the flu. Workers who don't want to get the flu vaccine for medical reasons can ask for an exemption under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And others who believe taking a vaccine would violate their religious beliefs can also object under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Another attorney says considering COVID is much worse than the flu, she anticipates the EEOC to issue guidelines stating it would be reasonable for an employer to require an employee to get the COVID-19 vaccine. A uniqueness to the COVID vaccine is that it's expected to first become available under an emergency use authorization. That means the Food and Drug Administration approved it without having all of the usual evidence that the drug is safe and effective. A medical director feels that due to this circumstance, most places are unlikely to make the vaccine mandatory, but could strongly encourage it instead. Requirements will also vary by the type of workplace. For example, hospitals and other high-risk settings are likely to make vaccination mandatory. In any case, employers will soon have to decide how to proceed when the COVID-19 vaccinations become readily available to the general public. Close to 160 people were arrested at a massive underground party in LA County, and now the sheriff is asking officials to help them stop super spreader events instead of focusing on restricting businesses. Sheriff Alex Villanueva held a news conference on Tuesday announcing that a 17-year-old hosted a big party in Palmdale at a vacant house. Organizers broke into the home and used a U-Haul truck to bring their equipment. Sheriff deputies ended up arresting 158 people, including 35 minors. Officers also recovered 6 firearms that night and 3 more the following day. The sheriff department also shared that they rescued a 17-year-old victim of sex trafficking. Villanueva says not only was this a clear violation of the governor's health order, but it was an accumulation of several criminal actions. The property owner did not give permission for the party and had hoped to rent out the home to a family. The sheriff says it's likely that at least about a dozen similar parties happen every week in LA County. Villanueva says they're put in a difficult position when it comes to enforcement during COVID-19, especially as it pertains to businesses. Adding that while he recognizes the threat of the coronavirus, his deputies are also trying to be considerate of the emotional and financial toll of the pandemic. He said, quote, "As such, I asked our state and local politicians to strongly consider allowing our restaurant industry to reopen and instead strongly support law enforcement in focusing on the targeted enforcement with super spreader events such as this one." Sheriffs in neighboring counties also expressed similar sentiments. The Torrance City Council met last night virtually to conduct city business. Mayor and city council members recognized staff and volunteers who participated in the 2020 Census Complete Count Committee, and a number of people were appointed to serve on the Social Services, Traffic, and Water Commissions. And in a public hearing, 19 out of 20 ballots received voted yes in favor of creating an underground utility assessment district. After the city clerk verified the ballots, City Council adopted a resolution approving the final engineer's report. The council also unanimously voted to adopt a resolution opposing LA County Department of Public Health's decision on the outdoor dining ban and asked staff to return with an item to consider outdoor public seating, much like how Manhattan Beach is currently doing. And the city officially appointed interim finance director Sheila Pozan to the permanent role. She comes with 14 years of experience advising on accounting matters, annual budgets, external audits, and management reports. Pouzan joined the city in 2016 and most recently held the position of Assistant Finance Director. City Manager Aram Shaparian also gave his update on the city's response to COVID-19. You can watch the meeting in its entirety here on Torrance City Cable, on our website, as well as on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. A Charlie Brown Christmas debuted today 55 years ago. The cartoon was the first TV special based on the comic strip Peanuts by Charles M. Schulz. In this special, Charlie Brown finds himself depressed despite the onset of the cheerful holiday season. His friend Lucy suggests that he directs a neighborhood Christmas play, but despite his best efforts, he is ignored and mocked by his peers. After Linus tells Charlie Brown about the true meaning of Christmas, Charlie Brown cheers up and the Peanuts gang unites to celebrate the Christmas season. If you want to watch this classic story, Apple announced that you can stream it for free from December 11th to the 13th. Just go to tv.apple.com on your TV, phone, or laptop and look for the show. Well, before we go at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Over the weekend, Torrance firefighters helped the Department of Child and Family Services by handing out gifts to 120 local foster children. They shared these pictures on social media featuring a jolly Santa Claus, who is actually Mayor Patrick Fury, wearing a mask and accompanied by his elves who modeled matching face coverings. And the Torrance Fire Department is also teaming up with the police for its annual holiday toy drive. But instead of toys this year, they're only accepting gift cards due to the pandemic. All donations will be given out to children in need throughout the city of Torrance. What thoughtful ways to give back. Now, if you have a great story to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as Ben McCain brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Hey! Okay.
If you love me enough to tolerate my perfect little pets and all their glorious dander, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Greg, come on man, let's split a ride home.